Previous weeks we talked about passing the guard, and then we moved on to the side control. Last week we looked at the knee and belly. Okay, now we're going to look at the next stage, the next obvious progression of this positional advancement that we're doing, and that is mount. And the simplest way to get from knee and belly to mount is just to take it down, alright? We'll obviously look at all the blocks and all the things that your opponent will do to prevent you from doing that. But for now, what we're going to do is this. You're starting on belly. Now, spreading my weight above his head here. And I'm going to join my knee with his knee. And I'm going to switch to the other side. And then I'm going to switch to the other side. Here. Switch to the other side. And then here, I'll just decide to take mount. It doesn't end there. Once I take mount, I spread my weight down. And my legs twine around his. And my arms go out. Then ask your opponent to just struggle around, see if you can move around. Because you will obviously experience that no one's just going to lie there inactive. So you have to get used to, when you twine your foot around, to really try and make an effort to keep them engaged. So ask your opponent to just move their legs around, just see, imagine a person who's not trained, just struggling around. At the same time, your hips have to direct downwards. So I'm pushing downwards here, and you can hear John go like that. That's not very pleasant for him. So the drill once more, we're starting off on your belly, and I'm trying to be as light and gentle as I can, so I'm not putting 10 tons of pressure on him. I'm very much that, just for the benefit of John, I'm just taking my weight off, but at some point I still have to put a little bit of weight on. And then move around, try and disengage. And there's a good chance you can stay here for a good 30 seconds, maybe a minute, depending how heavy or how good your technique is. And that's your drill. And once you've done the set, change over the other person again, and you change over again, and change over on your own side. Yes? Everyone got that? So find a partner, 1, 2, 3. So, you people, okay? Trojan weighs about 100 kilos, and it's deeply unpleasant for him to sit on you like that. But ultimately, if you have a little bit of knowledge of leverage and angles and limbs and that sort of thing, you can get out of it. But one of the very important things that we teach in Jiu-Jitsu is the power of my hips, especially when we elevate them. When we elevate them, we can elevate someone of pretty much any size. I haven't really tried it with someone who's genuinely 100 kilos, but So in Jiu-Jitsu, we teach the fundamentals of the way you hit, and also the way you escape using frames, which are my arms, and then we look at ways to counter and start attacking back again, etc., etc. So just by way of introduction. Right, let's move on to this, and this is my time to sit on. So his instinct, as someone who's trained in Jiu-Jitsu for 2 years now, is as soon as I take mount, say I'm doing my knee and belly thing, as soon as I get mount, before I even hook my legs around, he's already trying to hip bridge and hip up and trying to get me off. Alright, so that's the reality of grappling with someone who knows what they're doing. So the thing with knee and belly is you want to threaten with things he doesn't like, going down, you're going high, you're threatening, making it hard, and straight in there. Straight in there with you don't give him a chance for you to go to mount and just he's already escaped. Knee on belly is a very fast dynamic position. You can't really stall from there. You have to start threatening all the time. That's not the drill we're doing. I just want to show you and illustrate the real world application. Anyway, we start here now. Let's go back to the last bit. The last bit I asked you to do is you're rearing up, you're pushing up your chest, you're swimming through, and we're going to capture head. Notice what I do with my palm. I lift the head up and capture head. Now this is good because when you trap the head, in Jiu-Jitsu we often say if you trap the head, you control the rest of the body. Right? But there's a danger because I'm very unguarded on this side. So if I'm not really concentrating, he can just hip over and then it's very hard to stop me falling on that side. Go back in position. But in order for us to make him submit, I need to capture a head. So I've captured a head here, and notice I'm putting my head on the other side here. It's up to you whether you want to be quite high. But instinctively, I like to be quite low down because my centre of gravity is lowered and it's harder for him to push me off. Now John does the same thing and tries to push me off to that side. Much harder. So our first technique from here, after we capture the head, is to push down on his arm and capture his arm here. Everyone got this, yes? Most of you know what happens now, but if you don't know, follow carefully. The spare arm goes underneath, grabs my own wrist. Don't try to Americana from here, it's just not as effective. Alright? You have to release your arm, almost like you want to back elbow into his ear, then you're doing the lock from here. Okay? So the whole thing again, this time we're starting from the mount. You're starting from the grapevine, he pushes your chest, you swing through, capture the head. Use one hand to assist the other. Your balance of weight now shifts to one side because you are unprotected on this side, down here. This arm, what they probably try and do is try and push you. This gives you an opportunity to push down here. Once it's within grasping range, grab here. So you should have a little square here. Your hand goes underneath. Resist the temptation to go now, because what happens now is you try to do Americana and it's just not the right angle. It's very flexible. Plus, I remember at the same time he's trying to escape. And remember, I'm very unguarded here. So as I'm trying to, see what happens. Some people can make it. I would argue that you want to increase your percentage of success. So remember, we're back in this position here. It doesn't cost you anything to do this, and then look, my head is still here from this side, not on that side. So however much he thrashes and trying to push his hips up, trying to throw me off, I'm going to get the lock that I want. Everyone okay with that? Can you see that again? You're basically just doing that to your opponent. Now we do a proper club. 1, 2, 3. The mount. But it's quite a struggle for the top person as well as the bottom person. I'll explain to you. When you get to work for this, somewhere rotate your around your head is that way. So if you look where my hips are in relation to his hips, when I do the leg twirling thing and I catch a head, that's fine for me. But doing anything that attacks the limbs, and I'm quite low down on his torso. So to be a bit more effective, I want to be a bit higher up. We call this high mount. I mean, ultimate high mount is like this. I mean, you have to be very super skilled to get up this guy, and the person has to be, really quite useless to allow you to do that. Not being funny, but there's a big skill disparity because when you try sparring, how often have you got to this position against someone your level, right? Very rarely, if ever. It's very rare for me anyway. But from here, this is quite attainable, and getting to here is quite attainable. So most of your techniques will come from, let's say, mid-level mount. But I have a problem, see? When I release the grapevine and I start moving up, that means I'm within range of his elbows, and he can start defending, so he can frame against my hip and start shrimping away. And see, that's how a lot of people escape from mount when you release the grapevines. So that's why head capture comes in really nicely. So even though he's got his hips and hands against my hips trying to push me off, I'm fairly stable. At some point, he's going to make a mistake. And one of those being that he puts his hand here, which allows me to capture this. All right. Another time, maybe he's aware he doesn't want this, he puts his hand here. That's fine, I push it over here. Right, this is the position I want to start from now, okay? I'm kind of like hugging his arm, but his arm is across his shoulder. I'm grabbing my own palms. This time, this is the thing I want to get off his body. Put my tummy on the floor, and I'm just going to compress my bicep with his bicep together like this. And the way I do that is I just kind of ratchet my body around. You okay? Now, be honest, was that a neck crank or was that a genuine?
Yeah.
So, the reason I ask that is because if you sit up, when you do this technique where you put your arm across like this, the common error is that people crank very hard here. You see my forearm? Cranks very hard against the back of his neck. And it hurts, but against seasoned athletes, and John, they're not going to tap from this. It's just going to annoy them. But if you get the angle right, and you're squeezing more like as a V across the throat, you're getting a genuine strangulation affecting the arteries. And that's what you actually want for the head and arms. So I won't put it on full, but I want to show you the sequence, guys. So when we were in Grapevine, I've captured the head, and we're looking to move up to the mid-level. Now be aware that he's going to try and frame off and push you, and you are doing this. You're using that opportunity to, his arms are loose, push it across like this. Now, grab your own palms, we call this a gable grip, like this. Make sure his arm is trapped between you, your head, and his head. Make sure he doesn't turn either. I feel you're going to turn. So this leg comes off first, and immediately my belly goes to the ground. I'm as flat as I can be, my base is as low as I can be. And we're ratcheting on pressure here. You're not going to get an instant tap. It's a very slow, crushing pressure here. But trust me, it's very hard to escape. I've been a recipient of that many times, and it's just nasty. Even if it's not a genuine strangulation on the arteries, it's just horrible. You know you're being dominated, so I just tap out of, boredom. Okay. Does everyone understand? Let's see that again. No? Just push the arms. In a nutshell, all you're doing is this. Push the arm to one side. But the important thing is you have to step off his body, your body goes down, and you're kind of working in a clock pattern here, squeezing his arm and your arm together very, very tightly. Okay, I'll talk you through it when we go. Everybody else? 1, 2, 3. Let's look at something else from the mount that I wanted to cover today. Let's look at how somebody defends and what to deal with it. So, the head here and the body there, so I'll get into the mouth. So it's okay to come a bit closer because there's no dynamic movements in this, so you can see. But just don't get in front of the camera. So John, someone's in mount. What's your go-to neck protection style hand placement? Yeah. Okay. So the palms on the hand. This is very, very common, and this is useful because I need access. If I was to do, a very common attack would be a cross collar choke. Right? You would here and you squeeze, and you would get strangulation there, right? So a very easy way to defend that is to put your palms on the hip, right? So it makes access a little difficult. There are many people, everyone has their own little tip of how to do this. A popular one is to open the gi out, and that makes the hands go like that, and then you reach in. I personally find that doesn't necessarily work, so keep it clamped. I do this a lot. Okay. Right, sorry, was your head okay? You kind of clicked your jaw. A better way is, can you see how his elbows are elevated here? It's almost impossible to protect your neck with the palms and keep your elbows down. If you do, then guess what? So keep your elbows down. He gives me access to the back of his head, which is actually what I want, right? So he's got lots of things to worry about. Remember trapping the head, claiming the head? He doesn't want that to happen. It's hard when he puts his head on the ground, but his elbows are up, so while he's doing that, and now I've inserted my leg into place, which opens his elbow out. So try and protect your neck while your elbow is out. Okay? But guess what? It gives me a chance to do this. So we're going to play a little game, okay? So first of all, your partner's going to do palm on, and you're going to try and capture his head. And it should be fairly hard, okay? But at the same time, you'll notice his elbow is up. Even if there's no gap there, the elbow just points slightly up. Whereas if he didn't protect his neck, he could probably build his elbow down. So as he feels threatened with the elbow, he has to raise his head. Do you see what happens? Which gives you an ability to claim the head. And not only that, even if he carries on protecting his neck from here, protecting your neck, you can start winding your shoulder into his face. And how do you think he got that out? Yeah. People doing that. Very stupid. So number one, palms. Number two is they do the thumbs in, crossover arms. So you know this one, crossover arms? Yeah. So this is even harder to access, and you can't do this one. Plus the elbows are quite down, so you can't do this, it's very hard. But it's actually easier to claim the back of the head like that. Because in order to make this work, he has to compress his body, and then you do the same thing, using your leg to find a gap into here, working your arm attacks, etc., etc. So your partner's going to do number one, like this. Number 2, like this. He's going to try and prevent his elbows being raised, but in order to do that, he has to bend forward, which gives you a claim to the back of his head. But let's stick with those 2, and if we have time, I'll show you the